Okay, now we are back and we are just polishing up our skills to try and make sure we're at the best level possible. Now we are looking at some more tips on how we can number branched chain alkanes. Okay, we are working with more tips on numbering, on how we number the parent chain. Okay, um, so firstly, we're just going to see how we would locate the longest chain. Okay, how is it that we locate the longest chain? So I'm just going to put an example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and say 6. And then right here we can branch. Okay, we can do this and this and that. And then this one continues. Okay, so now how would we identify the longest branch? How do you identify the longest branch? So, well, you just look for the longest continuous carbon chain. I would come here where I have a carbon that is linking everybody. And from here, I'm going to pick two sides that have the most carbons, and I'll be done. Okay, that's all I got to do. Pick two sides that have the most carbons. Okay, so I would say, okay, this one is definitely there, right? This side. Now, how many are there on the right hand side here? I have 2 carbons. What about down below? I have 3 carbons. So that means I will go down below and leave this right hand side. So my chain will continue like that. Okay, so this would be my carbon chain. Okay, if I have identified my continuous, so one of the first things is first just identifying. Okay, we're looking at about 5 tips. And the first one is, how do you just properly identify the longest continuous carbon chain? I'm sorry for that. How do you properly identify the longest continuous carbon chain? And we are seeing that all you got to do is go to, especially in cases like this where it's not too complicated, you don't have, where you have only one branch. Okay, you try to go to that carbon, central carbon that is linking, and you try to choose the 2 longest branches. Okay, that's how you'd identify the longest carbon chain. Okay, now again, if you could again, if you just want to find say you want to find the longest carbon chain when you have 2 branches. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have 1, 2, let's say 3. I'm going to put something here, then 4, 5, let me say 6. What if I put the second one here? Okay, now how would I be able to find the longest continuous carbon chain here? Okay, how would I be able to find the longest continuous carbon chain here? Well, in this case, you always would like to go to the carbon that is at the end. Okay, the carbon that is the first branch. First branch means the one that is closest to the end. So this one is, if I start from this end, I would go 1, 2, 3. So on carbon number 3, right? Definitely from the other end it's further away. What about this one? This one is on carbon number 2 from that end. So okay, I'll go to that one. I'll go to this guy who is carbon number 2. That's where I go, and I go to the central carbon that's linking that guy. Okay, and again from here I will choose the 2 longest branches, and I can see that I have this one, and either I can go this way, it's still the same as going up like that because there is 1 carbon on both sides. So I could just continue like that, no problem. And I found the longest chain. Okay, so I'd like to go to my first branching carbon, and I sit on him. I choose 2 sides that can get to be the longest. All right, I hope you understand. That's how we do it. Now let's go to numbering. This was identifying the longest chain. Let's go to numbering. How do I know where to begin? So we're going to do some cases and see how to do it, right? How do I know where to begin? Let's say I have same situation as the last one. Okay, I'll put nice hexane here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll put my nice hexane. Let's put this one here, and let's put that one there. How would I number this guy? How would I number this guy? So every time you want to number, you go to the first branching point, the point that is closest to one of the ends. It doesn't matter which end it is. Okay, to one of the ends. It doesn't matter which end it is. And we saw that it is this guy, this carbon. It is the one that branches closest to the end. This guy, you have to go 2 steps here. You only have to go to the next one. So that is, I'm going to start counting from the end that is closest to the first carbon. Okay, that is to that. So this is my first carbon. It is closest to the end, and I'm going to start counting from the end, and I'm going to number all the carbons in my parent chain. Remember, before I number, I find the parent chain, and we've seen how to get it. We went here and we saw that the parent chain was actually this one, right? So once I have my parent chain, now all I'm going to do is I'm now going to number my carbons. All the carbons in that parent chain must be numbered. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You number with a pencil, right? Okay, and make it neater than mine. I don't want to have these marks that are circling your chain, whatever. All right, good. You can do it with a pencil and then erase them like that, like this. Okay, so I've numbered my carbons from the end that is closest, my first branching point. Then what do I do now? So once I've done this, then I'm done. I don't need to do anything else. I always number from the end that is closest to my first branching point. Okay, I wouldn't number like this 1, 2, 3, 4. No, what is the basis for your numbering? What are you using? You don't start from left to right. Who say that? Nobody say that. You start from the end that is closest to your first branching point. Okay, this is an example of how to know where to begin. Let's do more examples of that. What would you do if you would have, for example, two chains, okay, two chains that are the same length, okay, that are the same length, but they differ something on branching. Let's try to do that, and let's see how it goes. I'm going to try to put hexane again, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? And what would I do if I would do this? This comes down and goes to a carbon, and then I would have, for example, here I put another carbon there. Now, how would I number in this case when I have something like this? How do I number? I want to know, how do I number, right? So first, we want to see how to choose the longest carbon chain. How do we choose the longest carbon chain so that we can number? So I'm going to have to choose the longest carbon chain. What are my options? Right? If I go to this guy, right? If I go to this guy, which is the carbon closest to my end, and I try to see how I can get the longest carbon chain, right? I want to see how I can get the longest carbon chain. Let's say I come from this end, which I'm calling end 1, and I come like this. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons and get to this branching point. Now, when I'm at this branching point, I can start to see which way will give me the most carbons. If I go down this way, I'm going to have 1, 2 carbons. If I go straight to the end, I'm going to have 1, 2 carbons. If I bend upwards, I'm going to have 1, then 2. Okay, if I bend upwards, I'll have 1, 2. If I go down, I saw that I'll have 2 again. If I go straight, I'll have 2. So now I have options, right? I want to know which one am I going to choose and how is it going to help me, right? I want to know which one am I going to choose and how is it going to help me. Now, when you're choosing, when you're in a situation like this where all the things are equal and you want to choose how to put up your branch, then what you're going to do in this type of a situation is you always try to find the branch, the chain rather, the chain that will put the branch at the end. The chain that is going to put the branch at the end. For example, if I do this, okay, right? If I do this and I say, where is my branch? Where is my first branch? If I choose that one as my chain, where is my first branch? I can see that I have 2 branches and my branches are going to be like this. Let me put the branches. Here is a branch and here is another branch. So if I say, where are my branches? Well, remember how to number now. For you to know where your branches are, you have to number first. You number from the end that is closest to your first carbon, which is obviously this one. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Where is my first branch? My first branch is on carbon number 2, right? This branch here, this methyl. Okay, and the next one is on carbon number 3. So that is good. The first branch is on carbon number 2. Let's see another situation. Let's see what we would get. Want to see another situation and see what we would get in that situation. Okay, I'm going to say, what if I choose this branch here? What if I go down like this? Okay, it's the same length. These branches are all the same length, so that's why I'm trying to see which one is going to be. If I choose this branch, where would my If I choose this chain, why am I saying branch? If I choose this chain, where would my first branch be? Okay, I choose this chain. I'm going to number my carbons from the end that is closest, my first branch. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where is my first branch? It's on carbon number 3. So already I see that in the other way of naming, the first branch was on carbon number 2. In this way of naming, my first branch is on carbon number 3. So who do I choose? I'm going to choose the first one that gives my branch on carbon number 2. Okay, if I go like this, where is my first branch going to be? Of course, I have to number first, right? And when I'm numbering, I use the end closest my first carbon. So it's going to be 1, 2, then this carbon is 3, then this one is 4, then 5, then 6. In this case, where is my first carbon? It's on carbon number 2. So this is the first as this is the same as the very first one. First branch is on carbon number 2, and that is better than having the first branch on carbon number 3. So I'm going to choose this numbering because it puts my branch on carbon number 2 in the parent chain. That's how you do it if you have 2 continuous branches. I hope you understand. You can keep watching or repeating this part to make sure you understand. Now, what is the fourth tip out of the 5? The fourth tip would be, what would you do? Let's say you have 2 branches that are, I'm going to first put 2 branches that are different. Let's put a simple job. What would I do if I have something like this? 3, 4, then say 5. Then I put something here, which is 1. Then I put something here, which has 2 carbons. Okay? Or should I put it, let's put it here. Okay? This is proving complicated. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I put on number 3. Oh my. I'm sorry. I'm going to put on number, say 7. Should I say it's 7? Then I put on number 3. I put 2 here. And here I put 1. Okay. What would I do if I have a situation like this? I want to number, right? And I'm going to have to number. So what is the first thing I'm going to do? I have to identify my longest carbon chain. If I go this way, what would I do? If I go this way, is the very same thing as turning up here, because it will give me just 2, right? And they are very same. They're everything the same. Everything is going to be the same. So there's no need to worry there. So I'm going to choose this as my longest continuous carbon chain. Now, what do I do now? I want to choose how to number. I want to number. I want to be able to number, right? In a situation like this, I want to be able to number. How would I number? You have 2 branches. These branches are different, guys. Who do I number first? Where do I start? Am I going to say 1, 2, 3 to get this one, or am I going to say 1, 2, 3 to get this guy first? In this situation like this, you use alphabetic ordering. You're going to look at your branches. What is this branch called? This first branch? It's an ethyl, right? It's an ethyl branch. What about this one? It's a methyl. So now I'm going to use alphabetic ordering. What comes first, eth or meth? E comes before M, so ethyl is first. So that means my numbering is going to prioritize ethyl. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7. So it's going to be 3 ethyl dash 5 dash methyl. And remember, when you write your name, the very, very last part, or the last prefix, is written together with the parent name. So it's going to be methyl, then what is it? It's 7, so methyl heptane, 5 methyl heptane. Don't forget that if you have branches that have different sizes and they're on the same place, both of them were in position 3, depending on where you came from, you wanted to know how to number, you always use alphabetic ordering. Okay? Now let's do okay, this one I actually mixed them up. This I wanted to do 3 branches with 2 identical ones on this one. So I'm going to do this situation on this situation here that I put here. This situation. Let me cut it and paste it here. So I'm trying to paste. Come on. Let's see if I can paste. I'm failing to paste. No problem. Okay, let's deal with the question though. Three branches now. You have three What would you do if you had three branches where two are the same and they are on the same position? I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to draw a heptane again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say I go to what? Should I go to number 2 or 3? Even 2 is the same. And then I put the third, whatever it is here on carbon number 3. How would I number in this situation? Okay, if I start from here, this is 1, 2. If I start from here, this is 1, 2, and they're all meeting the same guy, which is a methyl one, something with one carbon. If I want to choose where to number, I then look, these two are on the same positions and they are the same guys. So when I want to choose where to number, I will choose using this number 3. Where is he closer to? He is closer to the left. So I'm going to start at the left, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Never forget that. Okay? Never forget that. And that is how you would number. And when it's like that, you can just put the numbers, the values. And how would I name this? Well, I would say these two guys that have the same name, I have a 2-methyl, okay, and I have a 4-methyl, right? 2-methyl and I have a 4-methyl. Remember, you put the name and the position, and then I have a 3-ethyl. So if I'm to now write down the name, I start with alphabetical order. Of course, it's 3-ethyl dash 2, 4 dash dimethyl, okay, because there are 2 methyls together. So one is on 2, one is on position. It's not 2, 4, it's 2 and 6 rather. Sorry, it's 2, 6 dimethyl, and you say heptane, and that's it. That's it. You've gotten to the end. That's how you name these things, and these are some of the tips I wanted you to know. And with that, we can look at the next video and see what's up. So here, remember, two different branches with the same number. You had the same. We just put two branches. It was a heptane, if you remember, which had 7. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was a heptane, and we had 1 on these 3, and he had 2. The other one had 1, and we always use alphabetic ordering for that. Okay, we always start with eth, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that is it. Goodbye for now. See you in the next video.